Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Toast. And I heard a few of you all complain earlier this week about the lower quantity of titles for Xbox Game Pass to start the month of August. But interestingly enough, we actually got two more surprise games that Shadow launched directly into the service. But do keep in mind that everybody will have a chance to enjoy this one. When everybody plays, we all win. So do make sure to stay tuned for all of that. And then also, it sounds like Sony is cooking up a sequel that I don't really think a lot of people were maybe expecting, but I think this will actually be a very pleasant surprise if true. So we will talk about that one as well. Before we get started, though, do make sure to hit those subscribe and bell notification buttons below. It's a great way to get notified every time I post a new video, which is every weekday. So come and join the fun. But with that said, let's just go and get right into things, starting off with Astro. They just dropped the pre-orders for its limited edition controller. I think this thing looks amazing. And when they first announced it, I recommended you all to set some kind of alarm and to pre-order it right away. I said that because I thought there was a very good chance that this would be a popular item, similar to what happened last year with the Spider-Man 2 controller, and that it would sell out. You know, this isn't Concord and its controller. People actually care about Astrobot. And lo and behold, the controller has in fact been selling out absolutely everywhere. It's already marked up on eBay for about $130 to $150. Scalpers do scalper things. It's going crazy right now. So hopefully for those who were interested, I hope you all got your pre-order locked in. What I'll kind of say about all of this, though, is that this is a pretty good sign for the release of Astrobot next month. You know, a lot of people have been curious as to whether or not this game can be a big-time seller for Sony this year. You know, they don't have a lot of big AAA first-party games, but they have Astrobot, and it looks extraordinarily well. But whether or not it can be a big seller for them, that part remains to be seen. If anything else, though, I think the fact that we're seeing this much interest in its controller, I'd say that that is a very, very good sign. The hype really seems legitimate up to this point, and personally, I hope this game does great. The Astrobot series has just been so good, I continuously say that, and if we want more games like this, well, then we need to vote with our wallet and show Sony that these type of experiences are absolutely worth investing in. Now, we also got some more information for Gamescom. We are starting to piece together who will be there this year. We know that Xbox is going to have a major presence. I fully expect them to reveal release dates for Starfield Shattered Space, Towerborn, and Indiana Jones. And now, we also have information that Sega plans to bring 3 playable games, one of which is currently unannounced. Yeah, the 2 that we already know about is Sonic and Shadow Generation, as well as ReFantazio. But the fact that they have a third unannounced playable game, that could maybe indicate that this title isn't necessarily all that far out, considering it is in a playable state. Now, what could it possibly be, though? That's the million-dollar question. You know, could this be for a brand new IP, and that's very possible, or is there a chance that this could be from an established franchise? You know, we know for a fact that they are reviving a lot of their dormant franchises right now, so this could potentially open the door for any number of their retro games. There's actually been a lot of rumors that involves a new Virtua Fighter and also a Skies of Arcadia remaster. Personally, I'd be all up for that one, but let me know what you all think about this. What would you like to see from Sega at this year's Gamescom? Now, there's also a game that's slated for later this month that fans are incredibly excited about, being Black Myth: Wukong. This game has grabbed a lot of attention since its first announcement, and it really does look impressive. I mean, the visuals for this game look stunning. I believe it's using Unreal Engine 5, and that Souls-like combat, it looks like it could potentially be a lot of fun. So, I mean, I hope it lives up to its hype, and even more so now because it's tracking well above even what I was expecting over on Steam. It's currently the best-selling global game on Steam right now. It's currently only behind Counter-Strike 2, but you have to keep in mind that is a free-to-play game. Wukong is the #1 paid game globally. Now, a big part of that is because of its prominence over in China. Wukong is based on a popular Chinese novel, and it's one of the select few AAA games developed by a Chinese studio. So a lot of the pre-orders are coming from China specifically, but this is the type of game that really could break out as a worldwide hit as long as it plays as good as it looks, because again, it looks very, very good. So crossing my fingers for that, but right now, it's tracking to be a big-time launch later this month. If you are interested in Wukong, though, it will be out on August 20th for the PlayStation 5 and for PC. Unfortunately, there was a delay for the Xbox version, but there are still plans for an eventual Xbox release as well, and as soon as we get that information, of course, I'll keep you posted. Okay, so sticking with PlayStation games, last generation, the PlayStation 4 was filled with a ton of great exclusives. I think that we all know that. They had Uncharted 4, God of War 2018, Spider-Man, and the list just goes on and on. But there was one game that might not necessarily get as much attention, but it's still a highly beloved title within the horror community, Until Dawn. This was a partnership exclusive for Sony where they published it and Supermassive Games developed it. Despite its cult following, though, I never really thought that we would see this game again, in part because Sony doesn't own Supermassive Games. Yet, earlier this year, they announced a PlayStation 5 remake/remaster. And at the time, that really surprised me. Like, there's a lot of games that Sony could have chosen for a remaster. Bloodborne is one such example. We've all been asking for that one. But for whatever reason, they went out of their way to remaster Until Dawn. And I just really thought that was a strange choice at the time, or at least until now. See, the thing is that we have some new information that leans into maybe why they chose to revive that first game. And that's because they might actually be resurrecting it with the intention that a sequel will follow. It's been discovered that one of their new first-party studios, Firesprite, is working on a new project that they themselves describe as a quote-unquote narrative horror title in their job descriptions. That seems right on the nose on how you would also describe Until Dawn, a narrative horror title. But okay, even still, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a sequel. This could potentially be for a brand new IP for all we know. But that's where things get even more interesting, because Jason Schreier seemingly teased that this is not for a new IP. It got narrowed down significantly. I mean, we know that it's a horror game, and we know that it's from an established series. And there's really not a lot of first-party horror franchises under the PlayStation umbrella. I mean, there's only a few that I can think of, such as the Siren series. That used to be handled by Japan Studio. There's the Persistence franchise that Firesprite actually worked on prior to being acquired, so that's actually a very real possibility. And then there's Until Dawn. And again, the job description fits Until Dawn perfectly. And the fact that Sony went out of their way to do a PlayStation 5 remaster that not a lot of people were really asking for, it really just seems to all lean into the idea that yes, an Until Dawn sequel by Firesprite could actually be a legitimate thing. I mean, like I said earlier, I never expected this series to come back because, Sony doesn't own Supermassive Games, but Firesprite might have actually solved that problem for them. They do have a history with horror games, as we've seen with the Persistence series, and this could actually be a good fit for them. If all of this actually turns out to be true, though, if I were Sony, I would actually announce this ahead of the Until Dawn remaster release. And the reason I say that is because I think that would give that game a lot more attention and more reason for people to purchase it. But nonetheless, for right now, this is all just simply speculation and rumors. It still might be for something completely different, but let me know what you all think based on the information that we know. Do you believe this could actually be an Until Dawn sequel, or do you think that this is something else? Now, one last thing before we go, Bethesda just had their yearly QuakeCon, and as a part of that event, they revealed and shadow launched a Doom 1 and Doom 2 Enhanced Edition. Now, considering they are owned by Xbox now, of course, these games are available in Xbox Game Pass, so if you are a Game Pass subscriber, that is absolutely fantastic news. But of course, much like the rest of the Doom series, they're also available everywhere else. It's on PC, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. And even better here is that if you already own the original versions, you'll actually get the Enhanced Edition as a free upgrade. So that's a super, super consumer-friendly move by Bethesda. And if you've never played these games before, I understand, they're a little bit older now. But what I can say is that they're still a ton of fun to play, and they're a huge part of gaming history. They are among some of the most important first-person shooters of all time, and they really helped shape that genre throughout the 90s. So if you've never played them before, maybe give them a try, and even better here is that this new edition comes with a lot of improvements. They're listed as the definitive experience for Doom 1 and for Doom 2, where you can play up to 4K resolution at 120 frames per second. It also supports crossplay with both co-op and Force competitive matches. It has 8-player split-screen support, and it even has mod support now, which is absolutely huge. That means there's constantly going to be new things to try in these games. And speaking of new, it also includes a new episode with new demons and new weapons. So Bethesda went all out with this collection, and here's the thing. It's only $10. Again, it's also a free upgrade if you already own them. So, I mean, I just think this is an incredible announcement considering the amount of effort that they put into a collection like this at a consumer-friendly price. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode. But until next time, go ahead and subscribe, and peace out.